Good morning. You're listening to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest, an old friend, Ron Lee, the former executive director of the Fuse Commercial Flooring Alliance. Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Cam. Good morning to you.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. You live out there in Colorado. I've called you out there. I want to talk to you about this job runner software. But before we get to that, let's tell listeners a little bit of background. You've been in the commercial flooring business most of your life, starting out as an installer, working with Duffy and Lee, spent some time with StarNet, spent a little bit of time with Interface, and then you were COO with Commercial Interior Resources when the decision was made to purchase the resource organization away from Interface, and you became the first executive director, right?
That is correct, Cam. It just seems like forever ago, but yes, that's the story.
And that was 7 years ago that you handed the reins over to Jeff Gordon, and I'm sure you've watched on the sidelines to see the pretty impressive growth, haven't it?
You know, it's been wonderful to see. Jeff has just done a magnificent job with the organization, his skill with our suppliers, or I say our because it still feels like it's mine. The suppliers and the members, the growth in the member areas has been phenomenal. And the energy that the organization has today is very impressive.
Okay. Let's talk about this job runner topic. I wanted to interview you about it because I think you were instrumental at the beginning. And from what I understand, this ERP software is specifically tailored for commercial flooring contractors. And I stress flooring contractors. So that seems like a niche type of service, right?
Very much so. And that really is the story of Job Runner and what it has been built to support.
Yeah. So it started by Pacific Solutions. Tell us about that background.
Well, back in 2000, when I left commercial flooring system with Kemp Harr, I knew that pulling together this group of companies that I had known through the Interface days, one of the challenges in those Interface days was finding a common platform to organize the processes in the business and the financial reporting for the business. We bought 32 companies with Interface and consolidated them down into 3 or 4 different large operating units, but we never could get a handle around the disparity in the way these different companies operated. So I was looking for something with this new enterprise called Resource to build a platform that we could grow and connect the companies together instead of being the 60 companies that we had, separate companies, to operate as one unit and give us the success and growth that we needed. So when I started looking in the industry, there really wasn't anything, and you emphasized commercial flooring. That's exactly the difference. There were a lot of software packages that supported the residential business, which is certainly similar but different when it comes to the way that the internal operations are. And I really couldn't find anything. Honestly, I looked through just a number of things. They were either too construction related, general contractor related, or they were too retail related. So I had to change my thoughts. And what I decided is that let me find the best package from a company standpoint, that the company had the integrity and the strength and the financial background that I could work with them and make sure that, there's always that story, there's a lot of small software packages out there, but if that individual gets hit by a bus, the company's gone. So I wanted a company that truly was going to be there. And then secondly, I wanted a platform that was going to be there. And it ended up that as I did the research, the Pacific Solutions company came up because of their history. And then the platform that they built their residential program on was called Floor Manager, and it was built on the Apple File Manager. So those are the 2 criteria I finally kind of settled into and said, well, we're just not going to find what we want. So we're going to have to find a company that's willing to modify what they have to our specifications.
Okay. So it's a lot of different little elements. It's CRM, lead management. It does estimating. It does purchase orders. It does change orders, warehouse management, accounting. I mean, it's all specifically written for this role, right?
Exactly. And again, over the years, I had put together, you'll laugh at this, an organizational process chart on how business is conducted from a commercial flooring contractor. And this flow chart that I had built, and goes back 40 years, is piece by piece, step by step, what happens to a contact with the customer, as you said, from the CRM all the way through the organizational process of accepting, ordering different pieces and parts of a project, getting it out into the field, bringing it back to inventory, what happens when materials come back in the warehouse. And this chart, if you print it out, and we actually had it on the wall of my office, it's about 30 feet long, of all the way down through. And so what I did is worked with Pacific to see what touch points would work and what needed to be changed. And then we took that Floor Manager product and modified it to fit this business process.
Mm-hmm. All right. And it's been endorsed by Fuse and StarNet. I mean, most of the members have decided that this is their program. Yeah,
and I think that goes back to the organizations, because both those organizations are have the premier flooring contractors there. These are truly people that are dedicated to good service and following up, and they're the growth companies of the premier companies. So I think that's what attracts them to a product like that. All right. Just one last thing before we go here. I'm just catching up with what you've been working on, and it's really a very noble thing you're doing now with working with convicted convicts and getting them back into trades and getting their lives turned around, right? That's correct. Yeah, it's been an inspirational time for me. I spent a couple of days a week with this organization in Denver, and we're doing good work getting people. As you know, my background is in the trades, so we're putting about 300 people a year from the sidewalks and the jails back into the society through all the construction trades. All right, Ron, it's great to catch up with you. Good to talk to you again. Been talking to Ron Lee, the former executive director of Fuse, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.